Hey, so today we want to talk about the Constitution a little bit and how Hobbes and Locke and Montesquieu's philosophies are all reflected in um, the Constitution. And so let's screen share the Constitution so we can kind of look through some of these things together. So as you look at the Constitution, and if you remember what Hobbes and Locke were all about, so Hobbes was really all about, right, if you leave people alone, they're going to make the wrong choice, they're going to make the wrong decision. People are selfish, and we need rules to kind of make people play fair. Locke, on the other hand, was no, let people be free. Everyone will be happy. If you just let people be who they are, they'll find a way to work things out. And Montesquieu is really all about compromise and how to work together, and we're all part of the same thing, so we have to work together, things like that. So when we look at the Constitution, all of these things are evident. These philosophies are all evident in the Constitution. First of all, the preamble, which is kind of just the outline of what our country is supposed to be about. And it's right here. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. We do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. And so basically what the preamble says is like, here's all these things that we want to create in this country. We have justice and peacefulness, right? And a common defense. We're going to defend each other. If you remember before this, there really wasn't a common defense, like each of the states defended themselves. Promote the general welfare, and we're not talking about what we think of welfare in the modern day, but just like the good health, not even the health, the goodness of the country. And by establishing this Constitution, it's saying that this is the law of the land for everyone. So there's a lot in here. There's a lot of Locke in the preamble, I think. Just these soaring ideas, these soaring concepts of what a country can be like. Let's see, what are some other things that we can talk about? The three branches of government, and I think we've talked about this in the past, but just the fact that we have three branches of government with the separation of powers, where they all have different powers, but yet they're all trying to steal each other's powers, that's all about Locke. Checks and balances and separation of powers. It's all about Hobbes. Is this idea that everyone, here's your job, you can only do this job, and we're giving you this by these written laws. But Hobbes' philosophy says that everyone is selfish and greedy, and they're going to want more power from the other branches. And so the only way that checks and balances works is if they are trying to take each other's power. And if they are successful in this, then no one branch becomes the most powerful. And so just the fact that we have these three branches of government with the separation of powers and checks and balances, that is all Hobbes in there. And then I want to show you this last part. As far as Montesquieu goes, I guess things like common defense. There are things in some of these articles about the new government accepting all the debt of the various states, so that we're going to bring us all together. There's one president that is supposed to represent everyone in the country. Might be important. The Constitution guarantees here in Article 4 that every state will have a democracy, or what they call a republican form of government. Let's see. I was going to try to, so then we get to the amendments in the Bill of Rights, and I think these are important as well. Um, so these I think can be examples of both of all three of these, right? So like the First Amendment, which establishes the freedom of speech, religion, the press, the right to assemble and to petition the government. This is kind of important, right? And so the fact that people have these freedoms, that they can do these things, is a great example of Locke. And perhaps Montesquieu, with the fact that the country is healthy enough to have different religions and different ideas. But the fact that we have to write it down might be more Hobbesian, right? That the fact that if we didn't have this, then people would not be free to speak and pray and do all of those things. And that's all of these amendments, right? The freedom of to keep and bear arms in the Second Amendment. There's all of these, things about crime, about you can't hold, there has to be a warrant, a search warrant involved, that there can't be cruel and unusual punishment. You must have a jury trial. Things like that might also be Hobbesian too, because the recognition that governments in the past have put people in prison without charging them with a crime or punishing them in cruel and unusual ways. So those are examples that Hobbes exists in the world, but it might be examples of Locke because we are protecting those people. Then the Ninth and 10th Amendment might be good examples of Montesquieu as well, where you see the Ninth Amendment that says the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. This is very Lockean as well. And then the 10th Amendment, the power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. And so this is really limiting the power of the government. It's really the first time that a document has said, here's what you, the government, is allowed to do, rather than the other way around, which in human history has always usually been, here's the government telling the people what they're allowed to do. This is a document that says, here's the people telling the government what you can do. So this is a little Montesquieuian, certainly Lockean, the Ninth and 10th Amendments to the Constitution. So I think that's enough now. You can answer the questions for the day. But if you have any questions, as always, feel free to drop me an email or a text. And until next time, have a good one.